It's finished. Almost. So the whole thing's together. It's kind of finished. This is sort of version 1 as I'm thinking of it. I've still got loads of things to do, lots of details to sort out, but it's all together. It runs, it works, it drives. Or it drove about 2 feet and broke. So the body fits well, it's pretty well made, it's the RC Run body. I'm very happy with it for 50 quid. Some people are selling it for a lot more than that. It's a little bit crudely made in places. It's still really good. It's very thick plastic. It's a good fit for the typical 313mm crawler chassis, and quite an easy fit if you use RC Run's own mounts as well, which extend the chassis rails. Short version, would I recommend this body? Absolutely. It's good. It's solid, it's pretty well moulded, it's not perfect. I wouldn't want to be paying 150 quid for it, or what some people are asking. For 50 quid you can't really go wrong. Would I recommend this interior for it, which I think also fits the Pajero or something? They do another shell that's very similar. Yeah, I'd recommend this interior as well. It's detailed, it's solid, it's got seat backs on it, it's got a lot of detail, even pockets on the back of the seats. You could really make something of this. So I've had to modify the interior to do that, and it is at least a bit easier to get off now. So I wanted to keep the back just for neatness, and it has a little lip on here sticking out that covers up a gap, but it made it impossible to get the body on with this still here. So that's gone. Then obviously you could see the inside of the shell. So all I did was just spray inside the back matte black, and it actually works quite well. I should explain this, shouldn't I? I'll explain it in a minute. That'll be exciting, won't it? It's not a gun. It looks like a cannon, but it's not. The reason I wanted this interior to stay on the chassis was because of the battery, which has to go here because there's nowhere else for it. And I wanted the cables to just run through neatly and not be a hassle. And I've gone for a simple Velcro, extended the battery wire through to here. The interior is held down pretty simply. It's basically just zip tied to the cross member, which just stops it from twisting or doing anything because it's right down on the rails. I'll cut that off. This is the flaw in my design, is that to get to the chassis you need clippers. Now I found out on my very first run where I don't carry clippers. The whole thing just lifts off, and I've used another plug, so the entire thing just comes off. There's a miniature servo that comes with it. You can connect it so he steers. Comes with its own micro servo and everything you need to connect it. I haven't actually done that. I'm not sure if I will or not. So you might spot another strange little chunk of shiny metal in there. The reason for this cannon looking thing and the chunk is just it's ballast. I did discover that Walking Dead Man is a little bit fat and heavy, and this whole truck was 200 grams lighter on this side than that. So I've dug this out. This is actually part of an old motorcycle suspension. That and the other one, together they add up to 200 grams, which might not sound much, but this is another thing I was going to use. And you can see that it's quite a lot of weight, and that's how much the truck was unbalanced by. And the whole thing moves a lot better now than it did before. You can clearly see from this that the imbalance isn't coming from the truck or the chassis itself with this. This is the SSD scale transmission, because it's all very centered. I was concerned about the gearing just purely because you have to use one pinion and that's all you can fit. There is no room for anything else or adjustment. So I was a bit concerned about where the gearing would be, but it's perfect. It's a really nice slow crawl, very controlled. I'm very happy with it. So this ugly bundle is the receiver. I prefer a box, to be honest with you, but there's just not room. It's just very awkward. So at least for now, I've bundled it up in a latex glove, because who doesn't have a source of black latex gloves? Another visible change from the last video, if you saw that, is I've replaced these GRC fenders. I really like these. They're quality plastic, bendy, strong, nicely moulded, easy, perfect fit. My other set I'd cut very heavily to fit under the LC80 body that used to sit on this truck, but I went for these unmolested ones, and they fit perfectly as well under this LC80 body. I may yet tint the back windows and the sunroof, but I'm not very good with the only time I've tried the tinting. It was a horrible mess. The biggest issue I have left with the shell is this front bumper. Well, that and how badly I painted the headlights, and I need a Toyota badge. There's nothing wrong with the bumper itself, but I want to cut it off. I want to saw it off and put a steel bumper, because as you can see I've already got steel rock sliders, and who has rock sliders and then a stock plastic bumper? Probably nobody. Problem is, it's part of the mount. These little squares in there, that's how it mounts, and it mounts very well, very easily, at just the right height. So if I cut that off, I've got to rethink the mount somewhere up in there, unless I go completely different and go for magnets. But now I think of it, then I would need some sort of support coming up in here, which that would be ugly and weird. I just haven't yet thought of an easy, secure way around it. Another reason I want to replace that bumper is I want to put this on it. This kind of car, it really needs a nice big metal bumper and a winch sitting on the front, but again, I can't mount that until I figure out how to get a steel bumper on there. The only thing I didn't really like about this shell is the wipers it comes with, because they're just silly. It's just too bendy that, you know, they're going to look daft. So I bought these lovely scale metal wipers with real blades and all sorts of ludicrous nerdishness. Very happy with them. You might notice the extra set of holes because it wipes on the wrong side. It comes with lenses and glass, but they don't fit very securely. They glue and a little tab here, and that's it for the whole thing, and I could just see them getting caught. So I've stolen an idea from the LC70 body, put a tiny screw just through the side just to hold that in, because if I lose one, if one pops out and disappears, I'm never going to be able to buy a spare, am I? And it's going to look kind of strange. It looks strange too with no bulbs in there. I've got those coming. I am going to put lights in because it just needs the bulbs as much as anything else. There are still loads of details I want to change and add to. I want a roof rack for it for a start. I feel, you know, it's sort of a tourer type car, so I want a roof rack on there. I might put a light bar in front. Obviously I need to figure out a proper metal bumper. After that maybe I might work out how to get some bars back down. It needs weathering. I have sort of done a gentle pass on it, but you wouldn't really know. It needs toning down. As you might have noticed already, the paint went wrong. I sprayed it on a day and it was raining, and I shouldn't have done it, and I got a lot of sort of milky bloom in it. It went sort of flat and pale. It's not great. I was thinking, I'm going to have to mask it all again, spray it all again, and then I decided not to. I thought I'll run with it. It's red for a start, and red always fades, so hopefully I can get away with it. If I add a bit of weathering, that it will just look like it's a bit faded and a bit old and a bit ruined. I'm still considering as well painting one of the wings in a different colour, like it's been replaced. Maybe I'll do that. I might make this more rusty and ruined than any of my other trucks. I'll also fit some accessories inside. I want some rubbish and junk in there. So it needs all these accessories, the roof stuff, canopy bar probably along here, and all sorts of junk. I always think that, and then I can never bring myself to spend the money on the accessories, but I'm going to have to. As for how it performs, I can't honestly tell you. I have run it, carted it up to the top of a mountain, it drove about 2 feet and broke, and the interior stopped me getting to it from above. So with this mount you need tools. You need quite a large, I think it's a 2.5mm Allen key, and get access to the battery. If the doors or the tailgate open, that would be another way around it obviously, and you could access the battery without even having to take the body off. There's somebody out there watching who's planning to do that, but I don't. I lack the skills to cut this tailgate out and hinge it in a way that doesn't look more like that. And that, I think, is it for now. I'm going to fit the lights very soon, and then I'm going to drive it. I think it's going to crawl the rocks very well with the gearing the way it is. It's a lovely slow crawl. So the next one will be a really brief, disappointing running video, and after that, hopefully, I'll get a proper drive soon, and you can see this gearbox in action. Just for a sneak peek of my next project, it's this. So scale. What am I talking about? Fucking hell. Have more coffee, have less coffee.